Hello, my name is Ryan Kronkowski, and today I'm going to be presenting some Web 2.0 applications and mobile applications that can be used by students, teachers, and administrators in education. First thing I want to mention is that we live in a changing world. We're moving out of our paper-based society that we've been within the last few thousand years into a digital-based society, and this is changing the educational landscape as well. Students should be interacting with technology in the classroom as much as possible, and they should be using these aspects of technology with high fidelity. This causes teachers to change with the times as well. We need to make sure that we are using technology in the classroom with a high level of fidelity. The first Web 2.0 application I want to talk about is Poll Everywhere. Poll Everywhere is pretty great because it can be used by staff in a school and students. One of the ways that teachers can use it with their students is as a quick formative assessment. They can go ahead and get a quick gauge of their students' comprehension on material that they're discussing in class. Administrators could also use this in meetings as well. If you're talking about a serious shift in your school or a serious change that you're trying to implement, you can get your staff's opinion on it right away in a non-biased way where they can go ahead and text their responses to these important issues that they come up on either smartboard or display screen that you might be using for your presentation. And it's also pretty practical and simple to use. I'm going to show you guys how to use it right now. Okay, you can go to polleverywhere.com in order to use this Web 2.0 application. And you can either sign up or you can use it for free. There's no sign up required, but there are more options available if you do sign up. So we're going to go to create our first poll. There's also videos if you want a tutorial as how to do it, but it's pretty simple, not even necessary to do that. Okay, so creating a poll, we need a poll question. So as far as this goes, we're going to use what is your favorite animal? What is your favorite animal? And there's a number of different ways you can gauge how your audience is going to respond. It could be an open-ended question. They can respond with anything. You can make it a multiple choice question, or you can have an image that they clicked that represents the answer. In this case, we'll do a multiple choice question. So, favorite animal: duck, cat, and you can add as many answers as you would like. Dog, or tiger. Okay, then you scroll down and you go ahead and go to create poll. And this would come up on your display screen and your staff or your students would see this. And they respond by getting their mobile devices out, their phones, and they text to this number. So this is the contact that they would be texting to. And then in the subject of the text, they would put these numbers in to represent each of the corresponding answers that they could choose. So if they wanted to choose duck as their favorite animal, they would put this in the subject line of the text. And this is pretty great because it gives you an instantaneous way to see what level your students are functioning at. Or it gives you an instant way to see how your staff feel about a particular issue you might be discussing in a meeting. The next Web 2.0 app I want to talk about is Twitter. And a lot of us are familiar with social media in today's day and age, but not many people use Twitter for professional usage, and it's kind of perplexing as to why that is, because it's very simple to use and it's a quick and easy way to get across information to others. As well, in today's professional world in education, there's people moving in and out of districts all the time. Teachers get hired, fired, they move to different states, people get promoted. So it's a good way to stay in contact with other people who you've developed a good collaborative relationship with. Also, it can be used with parents and students to collaborate in forums for projects, or just simply to communicate, what do you have for homework today, or what's going on in our building or district this day, this week, or this month. So here's an example of a professional learning network that I've created on Twitter, and you can see a number of educational sources that I'm following, Education Week, or a number of educational speakers or theorists that are on here as well. What's cool about this is a collaborative source is if you can't meet in a physical space with a group that you need to collaborate with, you can use direct messages to speak with one another. Or you can go ahead and use it as a resource to just gain more information about new things you might want to implement in your school or your classroom. And you can do that by following people. For example, we had a speaker in our district a few years ago, Mike Matos, who talks about professional learning committees and communities. And we've been trying to implement those in our district. So he's somebody that I added simply because he's a valuable resource. Or recently, I was at the Missouri PLC Project Professional Learning Community presentation at the Lake of the Ozarks, and their keynote speaker was Ken Williams, and I added him because I saw him as a valuable resource, and it's pretty great because he ended up following me as well, which I never would have figured would happen. So this is just a great tool that you can use to keep in contact with other educators, gain some ideas and things you might want to implement or use, or just keep in contact with people that you've developed a good collaborative relationship with over the last few years. The last app that I want to talk about is a Web 2.0 app, and it's a mobile application. And this is a great tool, Google Maps. It can be used to teach local and world geography with your students. It's pretty cool because it provides driving and walking directions. With my 7th grade class last year, when we were studying geography, I had them get their devices out, and we used it to figure out how to get from our school to the local grocery store. And it taught a lot of important geographical skills, such as scale and the cardinal directions, because there's a compass on the application as well that can be used. And the good thing is it can be accessed from mobile devices, which our school sometimes has had trouble providing technology to students, but allowing them to use their own is a way that we can combat that. So although Google Maps can be used on a mobile device, you can also use it on a computer as well. And since I can't screen record my phone and present to you at the same time, we'll use it on a computer. So we could say, get directions. Get directions from Fulton Middle School, where I currently am, to, I don't know, to Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. And this gives students a sense of scale because there's a map scale down here, so they can use this to determine how far it is that you're going. It also shows them geography, what states are you going to be traveling through to get there. As well, it's just a practical tool that they can use. I mean, most of them have mobile devices. If they're out in their community in Fulton and need to try to find out how they're going to get to places, since they're in 8th grade, they don't drive yet, but they either bike or walk, they can get directions and figure out how long it's going to take them to get to these locations using these methods of transport. So, it's just a really powerful tool to show geography and teach students that they can use resources that are available to them in order to learn more about their world. So those were the applications that I had for you guys today. Pretty simple and easy to use, and I hope that you'll start using them in your classroom to teach your students or staff. Thank you for your time.